Okay, this is a very simple but very important exercise. It is really critical that you be honest with yourself and that you allow your subconscious to really respond as you want it to. And you will distinctly see the separation between the conscious and subconscious motion. You want to be able to establish direction in response to specific conscious expectations. By expectations, I mean if I wanted to move in a yes direction, it will move forward and backward, which is vertical. And that is a common movement of my head. In other words, my subconscious knows when I nod my head up and down, it means yes. If I move it right and left, that means no. Along with that, we will establish two other directions, clockwise and counterclockwise. At this time, we will put no meaning to them, other than to use those directions as part of the exercise. Now, it's important that you recognize that when the ball moves, that you are not consciously moving it. This is the basis of the exercise relative to proving to you that you have a subconscious. There's nothing magical or mystical about it. At the end, I will explain to you scientifically how it works. But it's important that you do not be negative about it or fearful about it or have any really thoughts about it other than to think, well, okay, let's just see what happens. Give yourself a chance to really allow the subconscious and conscious to communicate and show that they each have a separate function. Now you can use a washer with a string on it, or you can use a ring, a regular ring, but I recommend if you do use a ring, use a piece of thread, a sewing thread. You still can use a little piece of string, but I find the thread for something that's lighter and smaller has a tendency to work a little better. Now, you tie it to the object and you allow about 8 to 10 inches. Now I tie a knot in the top so it doesn't slide off. Now you'll notice when I hold it, I pinch it with my pointer finger and my thumb, and I keep my other fingers away from it. In other words, I don't do this. I do not put my fingers out and let these fingers here float near it, because without thinking about it, sometimes they touch it and tap it. You don't want that. So you want to be able to have it so it is completely free as it hangs. There doesn't need to be a lot of pressure. It needs to be able to hang where it's straight down from a vertical position. I tend to sit at a table when I do this. You can be standing if you want, it doesn't really matter, so that I can rest my elbow. And I do not lift the object until I'm ready to go, because I don't want my arm to get tired at all. I want it to be relaxed. I don't want any tension in any of the muscles, tendons, or anywhere within my arm. Now when you begin, be positive. By that I mean you tell yourself, okay, I want to really improve my life. I want to improve the quality of my life. So this is going to be a tool to help me do this. So it's very important that I be honest with myself and do the best I can. Once you're ready, you let the object hang, and then you tell yourself, okay, subconscious, when I tell you to move in the yes direction, you will move forward and backward. And I actually move it to show my subconscious what I mean. Then I tell it, and when I tell you to move in the no direction, you will move it right and left, suggesting no. If I tell you to move it in the clockwise positions, you will let it swing in a circle clockwise. When I tell you to move in a counterclockwise position, you will do it without any hesitation. Now you do that in order to clearly establish the direction you want to go. Again, you're only putting meaning to 2 of the directions at this time. That's fine. Now, some people find it difficult for it to start moving. And that's because of subconscious resistance. Some people have a fear of it for whatever reason. Maybe they saw it or think of hypnosis and they're afraid of it. This has nothing whatsoever to do with hypnosis. I know that it has been around for hundreds of years and it has been used for entertainment. The Ouija board, the pendulum. Forget that. That was entertainment. There's really nothing magical or mystical about how this works. And again, I'll explain it. When you're ready, you pick it up and you allow it to be just slightly off the table. Again, I'm resting on my elbow on the table. When I'm ready, I think to myself, okay, I'm not going to move this consciously. I want my subconscious to move it. And I want my subconscious to move it in a yes direction. Now notice how it begins to move. Now I know I'm not moving this. Now my hand may jerk, but that's because of a spastic reaction. But I know I am not consciously moving it. Then you can touch the table and pick it up and say, move in a no direction. Now you may feel a twitch, but you know that you are not physically moving it consciously. And then you move it in a clockwise position. And then a counterclockwise position. Once you do that, if it does it, you want it to do it strongly. In other words, I want it to move not just a little bit like this. I want it to move very distinctly. I want to make sure that it is moving in the direction that I dictate. If it does not move strongly, then you're getting subconscious resistance. Now, I have never met anyone who could not do this. Some people just took longer to do it. Because it's a natural subconscious capability. So then, if I'm having trouble doing it, I'm not going to try and figure out subconsciously why I cannot do it. I'm just going to be more aggressive. I'm going to tell myself, okay, subconscious, this is very important to me. I want you to move in the direction I tell you. So if I tell you to move in the yes direction, you will move it in the yes direction. Now notice how aggressive I'm being? I'm being aggressive because I want my subconscious to know this is serious to me and I want it to do it. If it starts to move a little bit, then I will tell it, okay, I want you to move stronger in the yes direction. Move stronger. Move more distinctly. This is important. There's no reason to resist. In other words, you need to be able to let your subconscious know that your conscious is making commands that it wants it to respond to. You want to establish this relationship between the conscious and subconscious. Up to this point in your own personal development, you have to think of your conscious and subconscious of being like the soldier and the general. All your life, the general has been the subconscious. In other words, it dictates your emotional response. It dictates many of the things that happen in your life relative to how you feel, your actions and your reactions. So the conscious is the soldier. What we're going to do is we're going to switch roles, and we're going to make the conscious the general and the subconscious the soldier, so that the subconscious listens to what the conscious says. Because the conscious is quite capable of controlling the activities and potentials within the subconscious. And within the subconscious, you have natural healing powers. You have what I call natural triggers that will allow you to access the capabilities of the subconscious to make changes that will allow the body to rebuild itself, to reestablish the harmony and balance that it's supposed to. In other words, you can cure or heal the problems that happen. But the conscious and subconscious have to have this communication. But we know without a doubt, because of spontaneous remission, that the body has a natural ability to heal itself. What we need to do is find the triggers for cancer, for post-traumatic stress disorder, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Glaucoma. But you can deal with everyday problems such as the emotional problems, getting rid of fear and anger and resentment and guilt. All of these things from the past you can change. And this is the beginning of it, by starting to get the conscious and subconscious to communicate and respond. So when we talk about training the subconscious, all we're saying is that once you establish that you do have a conscious and subconscious, then you want to be able to start strengthening the response of the subconscious responding to the conscious. And that is all done just basically by the strength of response and the quickness of the response. Now watch here. I'm going to say yes. I want it to move in a yes. It's very strong. And then I want it to move no. Now notice I didn't stop it. I'm just going to let it change direction on its own. And then I'll say clockwise. Now I'm going to say counterclockwise. And notice how it struggles to stop. And then it starts going counterclockwise. Now by doing this, by not stopping, it shows that the subconscious is responding quickly and strongly to my command. So that when I make recordings for people, I use this basic exercise to stimulate and activate various elements within the body that creates change, such as the stem cells that are for repairing tissue, whether it's tissue in the organs, tissue in the brain relative to neurons, it doesn't matter. So that's why I really impress upon you the importance that this is the first stage in our program to you becoming the master therapist. Okay? So again, roughly 8-inch, something that's not too heavy but does have a little weight to it, between your pointer finger and your thumb. Establish the direction you want to go, and then let the subconscious do it. If there's any question, you can contact me and I'll be more than happy to answer it.